Good morning.
Good
Happy
morning.
happy Wednesday, everybody. What's up, man? It's Jason Gulik, Mark Deeds Klodzinski, and our guest on this fine Wednesday, the one and only John B from WCR. John, what is shaking, brother?
Good morning. Good morning. How we doing?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Thank you so much for joining us on this great day. I know I hollered at you late last night and you were Johnny on the spot. Saved the day, played Captain Save-A-Ho, boy Goo here. I was a
Oh
little
yeah.
struggling on the struggle bus this week trying to get some things organized, but here
Choo
we
choo.
are. Yeah, choo choo. Here we are, and there's your beautiful face. Dude,
Good morning.
Yeah, happy to join in.
so
Always love
John,
watching you guys.
thanks, man. Dude, you were originally part of kind of what got all of this going. I don't know if you know that
Hmm.
or not, but
Hmm.
you, Mike, Zane, Mark, and I having breakfast at the pardon me, at the IWCA a couple days in a row,
The,
got Deeds and I thinking, man, how fun was that? Like,
Oh
the
man,
cat
we
the
had such a good
catalyst.
time. I think
Mm.
I think didn't you guys marry Zane and Mike
yeah,
one of
Yeah.
those
well,
days?
we were trying to get him, prepared for his upcoming nuptials and wanted to see if he could handle the heat of standing up at the altar and all that good stuff. And
I wanted to
you
see
know,
Runaway Bride. I wanted him to run away like Julia Roberts.
Right,
But
yeah,
that didn't
that would
right.
have
happen.
been funny. I
Yeah.
We
think that
saw a lot of weirdly that wasn't one of the craziest things we actually saw in Vegas. So
Oh no. No.
not even close. Not even close. We can recap a little bit of that too throughout this episode if you want. That was fun. I think Deeds has photographic evidence of some of the weird shit we saw.
Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
yeah,
Dominatrix. They're a lot of fun, but they won't let you
yeah.
go. You got to give them that $20 or they will smack you down.
I
You
think
know.
prior to our meal, did we see domestic abuse?
We did
Yeah.
catch a
There's
little DV. We
yeah,
did catch a
little
little DV while we were there too. Um,
Fremont Street in Vegas is crazy, folks.
yeah,
Just crazy.
the guy
Anytime.
dragging a gal out of the casino, and we're all like, "What do we do?
So was the
What do we?"
cop.
Yeah, we're like
Yeah.
standing there, like, "All right, so anybody gonna break this up?"
Yeah, no, no, it's really just kind of wild out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Those people look like they were actually regulars at that spot. I had
Yeah.
seen that guy, one of the guys, get into it earlier at the bar at like 5 in the morning. And yeah, I was like, oh, I can't wait to watch these chicks fight. It's gonna be hilarious.
Oh my God.
And
Yeah.
the
It
one of
seems
the
like the
guys that I
pe
was sitting at the table next to was like, "Hey, babe, calm down over there." And I was like, "Oh shit, that's your girl. My bad."
We'll see.
Yeah, it seems like the
Careful of
people sort of sorted out for themselves out there.
Yeah, for sure. So
Vegas is like Mad Max, like Beyond
Yeah,
Thunderdome. They take care of their own shit, take care of
yeah.
business.
yeah, they handle it on their own too, the laws and all
Yep.
that good stuff.
They- I think
Fast
direct
forward,
sunlight might be needed on that Fremont Street.
yeah,
You know, like
that would probably help too. Was that one of your first conventions, Sean?
The first.
Oh,
hmm,
the first.
Yep.
Awesome.
popped your cherry in Vegas. Very nice. Yeah.
In so many
That's
ways, yeah.
Yeah.
exactly right. So, John, we got an opportunity to spend some time with you in the mornings and have some fun. And did you get an? I mean, I know you were working for WCR, setting up the booth and all that stuff. When you were there, did you do any classes or anything like that? Or
Me
did you?
and Zane popped into the Glass Renew class for a little bit before one of the I guess before the trade show actually started one of the days. So that was really cool. Those guys are awesome.
Yeah, and I know Mike loves that stuff. When I was on my trip this summer, I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to grab some coffee real quick with you in Bethlehem.
Hmm. Yep.
And then when I got down to see Mike, like half the time that I was there, not half the time, but a good portion of the time, he's out in the garage grinding glass, smoothing it out and trying to get it perfected because, he's a man of his craft and he wanted to make sure he got everything done right. And yeah, he's on the phone and FaceTiming with Mark Tanner and, trying to get everything just dialed in. And that's one of the things I love about Mike and Zane is they like to do their research. They want to make sure that everything is just right. And
Yeah.
for me, they're two great guys to look up to. And
Well,
I,
yeah, and
Do
specifically with like class restoration, that's something that you don't really want to just like jump right into and like, it seems like such a, like you mentioned, specific like science to get down. So, having practiced with that, I think is something that they always recommend specifically. But yeah, they're always working in that lab.
Yeah, they always are doing something. Um, Real quick, we got a bunch of our friends in the building or on the show joining in. Alex says, glad to see John B, the king of puns, join the show.
That's right.
Craig Hensel's in, Jessica
Here
Battles.
comes the pun king.
Yeah, Jessica Battles here. Sam's in the building. So we got a bunch of people. I can't see everybody just yet. Adam Hogan. But you said you had your screen up too. Steve-O's here too. Good to see you, brother. John B
Good
is the
morning.
best.
Yeah.
So
Morning. Morning,
I
everybody.
got
Damien, yeah, they got mole people down in the Vegas underground.
Yeah.
Damien's in there
Yeah.
too. I didn't see him. There he is.
Yeah.
There he is. Um, two
Yeah.
rumors
And good
or
morning, Alex.
two things I
Morning.
want to shore up real quick though. That
Hmm.
beautiful stash of yours, John. How do you get it going? What's the
Um,
secret? Men and
it
women both
was
want to know.
just leave it, really. It's like you just got to leave it be. You got to get a small pair of scissors, a small comb. There's really not too much to it. I suppose it's just, man, what you can grow, you try and grow and see what actually works. Cause like it doesn't really come in great anywhere else necessarily, like full enough. So the stash was just something that worked. And I mean, for a while it didn't work very well at all. But for whatever reason, it eventually ended up coming in.
So we were just
Nice.
talking about Tanner, and there he is. He just popped in the chat.
There he is.
Chris
Good morning.
Lemon is here too. Jake Van O popped in. Everybody
Ah,
loves them some John B, bro.
Morning.
yes,
Everybody loves
John
them
B.
some John
Sloop
B.
John B. I love it.
man of the people.
Man of the people is correct.
Yeah.
Another something else I wanted to not clear up. There's a rumor going around. You used to be next door neighbors with one of my buddies and one of the
Hmm,
best dudes around, Sean Hart. How
that's
long did you
right.
live next to
Me.
Sean?
We lived in, me and my brother lived in this place for, I want to say 1 to 2 years. I kind of knew that he was living over there. Obviously, you don't necessarily want to just be like knocking on doors and everything, but I always saw his Jeep, especially when he got, I'm not sure if he got like decals on it or something like that after a certain while, but yeah, I know he lived like literally a stone's throw away. He was super close.
Small world, right?
Totally, totally. Yeah, Chris knew him. I know they were friends. I don't know if it was from high school or what, but yeah, he's a good dude.
Great guy. Great
Yep.
guy.
Yeah,
I was super nervous to get an opportunity to hang out with them. And of course, when you know somebody online and you don't really know them personally just yet, it's you're like, oh shit, you want to be on your P's and Q's and make sure you're doing the
sure.
right thing. And especially for somebody like me and for someone that I look up to, like Sean, who does great content. He's also tied in, and just seems like an overall great guy. And when I spent time with him, he just blew all the expectations out of the water. Just a superb individual.
Yeah,
Um,
I think it has a lot to do with, I mean, the window cleaning industry being such a like people-oriented industry. I mean, you're always working with customers and stuff like that. So it's interesting because I came through the window cleaning community from like directly speaking with Alex and Chris and everybody in the warehouse in person, and then kind of branching off to meeting window cleaners online and then in person that way. So when I don't know, it's just an industry of just like mostly personable people.
you nailed it on the
Yeah.
head.
You can't be
Yeah,
an introvert in this industry because you got to talk and sell yourself at all times. You can't be,
right.
always be selling. So you can't be like if you're a clam and a shell and a very antisocial person, the only way you're going to win is if you're doing online bids, online requests, and not really interacting with people. But if you're able to sell yourself and be personable and likable, people will trust you and give you some business.
Right, right. And then
Bam,
there's also
bam,
that
bam.
kind of
Nailed
like
it.
gritty, like sales aspect that I like about window cleaners. It's like it's not the suit and tie, it's getting out there, getting dirty and getting the job done.
There are two
So
beliefs for window cleaners. There's the guys that like the sublimated shirts and the guys that think they're ridiculous and you have to have polos. It's like I don't know if it's 50-50 or 60-40, but there's a number out there.
You gotta try everything out, I think, see what works
Mm,
for you.
yeah.
It's something that some guys will, I always notice that about at least like whether it be online or like in person, there's a lot of split in the window cleaning community and like what people think works and doesn't work. And you can be completely convinced that something works like that you use every day and somebody will like completely just trash on it.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And I'll tell you too, when I first got started, because I looked so young, I felt that the need for a polo shirt made me look a little more official. I was 25 looking like I was 15.
Sure.
And trying to knock on someone's door and it's like, well, and also back then too, 20 years ago, 22 years ago, um, people didn't have ring cameras, they didn't, whatever. So when somebody knocked on the door, it was usually family or friends. There was sometimes
Sure.
salesmen going around, but it's not like it is now.
Right.
Mormons.
Yeah. Have you seen the light? But yeah, I always thought that the collar was the way to go. And now I've been doing it long enough. I know that I sweat my ass off and I do more than one house a day usually, and a collar shirt just doesn't work for me so much anymore. But every now
Sure.
and again I throw it on whenever I have an important meeting or something that's, a large bid. We put a bid together on Monday, massive property, and yeah, it's always nice to look good and look professional. But when it comes
Yeah.
down to the nitty gritty and the work, a t-shirt for me is usually how it gets done these days. Um,
Yeah.
I wanted
Sure.
to
I mean,
ask you a
it's
couple.
whatever works.
I wanted to ask you a couple things. WCR, you've been working with and for them for how long? And when did you shift from? What was your transitions from positions
Yeah.
and timeline?
So, I guess it was because it was smaller back in, I think, March of 2019, I believe, when I started. The roles were like, I mean, and especially in the warehouse, it's kind of, it used to be like, if you do what you can do pretty much and, see what works, like working in shipping pretty much, picking and shipping. So like getting products together from orders. At the time, I think we were printing like manually printing like 10 orders at a time and picking them, shipping them out, getting everything packed and then shipped. um, I was doing that for a couple of years and then we started to get bigger and more people in. I think this was a little bit before we moved locations, and I think I started purchasing there at the smaller warehouse. Was doing that for a little while. I would jump in, production where I could help, when things slowed down, in shipping, helping out if I could, pretty much just try and do whatever I could if any department needed help. And then when I moved out to PA, they were like, do you want to try sales since you know the products? And I was like, yeah, sure, let's give it a shot. And it's been maybe 3 years, I think, at this point, around that time, almost 3 years.
Damn, John B's just
Awesome.
crushing and killing, making moves, learning all the different aspects of the warehouse, becoming a jack of all trades, transitioning from picker packer purchaser to sales. Do you
Yeah,
miss
I mean,
being at the
that's the thing with
warehouse?
WCR. I mean, like if you work and show that you want to be there, I mean, it's for me, it wasn't difficult because from the top down, like everybody has so much pride in what they do. So like it wasn't difficult for me to, jump fit right in and, just want to help out and learn as much as I possibly could. I felt like if I could check out a different department of the warehouse or something and see if there was something that I could learn from there. And, especially when you came from purchasing and not necessarily using all the equipment directly. I
Mhm.
mean, I wanted to just like get a sense of what everything was like. So yeah, I mean, I think if you want to show up and work, it's an easy place to be in the warehouse there.
For sure. How often do you get up there? Do you miss being at the warehouse? Do you miss having the camaraderie of seeing, 80 people a day?
Yeah, I
How was
probably
that
need to get up
transition
there
for you?
more. I mean, I'm about 2.5 hours away, so it's not too far of a trek. But yeah, it's tough because it's a balance of like wanting to go, and then like when you get there, not wanting to get in anybody's way as they're like working, because now I'm just like with my laptop, like, hey guys,
It's kind of like a little field trip nowadays instead.
Yeah, I
right. But
saw
I
the
do
Lego
miss,
movie.
yeah,
Good.
go ahead.
I
No,
saw
no.
the Lego movie a couple times on my drive up and down to New York, and all I
Hmm.
can think of is like when you punch into to work at WCR, you're hearing, everything is awesome. And you're just like the song from the Lego movie. Any of you guys have kids, you would know. But that
I
just
can
like playing
imagine
on
it does
repeat.
feel like that because it's such a production, and every time I go there, I mean, it seems like they got more stuff in there. They're always working on something new, so it is nice to go. And I should pop in there more, and especially as things slow a little bit down in the winter.
Yeah, winter is coming, folks.
I
That's
can
right.
totally understand what you're talking about, like not wanting to get in people's way.
Yeah.
They knew I was coming, and I ended up going there 3 days in a row. But I really like I wanted to be a sponge, kind of like what you said. Like you just want to learn as much as quickly as possible, see how exactly like that sponge, see how things are done, but also at the same time and ask questions, but kind of be a fly on the wall. Like you don't want to get too involved to get in people's way and disrupt the flow of what they got going on. But you just want to
Totally.
see how the magic is made and see how the process goes. Oh,
Yeah.
Sean says
Yeah.
he's headed up there now. That's pretty
Oh,
good.
sweet.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, tell
Tubular.
everybody hello. Tell
Yeah.
him
Right.
tell him Goo, Deeds, and John B said what up. And Sean Hart, give him a big old hug.
Sweet.
Everything is awesome.
That's
Just
hilarious.
saying.
I gotta
It,
see
it
that
might
movie.
actually play that, but the volume would be super low because it's nice and quiet and efficient in the warehouse.
They need to
It
put
is.
UB40 like red wine on just low all day, like red wine, and just like flow that all day until people get sick of it. Until someone complains. Repeat one song over and over until you get a first complaint, and then cut it off.
That's a Guantanamo Bay status right there, I think, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, that actually is torture. You're right. Let's not torture the employees. Bad idea. Another
Hey,
good idea.
Sean,
Bad idea.
Sean, if you're still listening too, high five for my man Justice, Tiana, Kaylee, and Brandon, Team Zero. Give them all high fives, big old hugs and daps, whatever they'll take. Just tell them I miss them and I love them and I appreciate everything that they do.
You couldn't
Um,
give out enough high fives, I don't think.
yeah, man. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, what is so on Wednesdays we usually talk a little bit about what's in our bucket or what we've been using for the week. What's going on right now? What are people buying? What are they preparing for? Their seasons of change. Like
Hmm.
I've got some stuff coming up this weekend, construction clean, so I picked up some
Oh,
blades.
wow.
I've got the nice vac over my shoulder because I'm going to use the little track vac later on this week. But what are
Yeah.
you seeing coming off the shelves? What's on sale right now? And what do you think people could use most this time of year?
Yeah, this year or this time of the year, I guess, is a little touch and go because it depends where you are in the country, right?
Yeah,
So, and it also depends how like mild of a fall you have. So, like, I mean, in some areas, you're having people hit you up about like Christmas light stuff. You're having people hit you up about gutter cleaning. You're having
yeah,
people ask about, winterizing systems, stuff like that. You're having people in, areas like Florida and California are just buying like filters for their systems or, getting stocked up on rubber for the winter just so they don't have to make any purchases, in between now
Rubbers.
and spring. And then every so often, a couple times a week you hear people who are just starting out. And sometimes I even just get homeowners. So, it's kind of like a mixed bag this time of the year.
gotcha. Have
So,
you,
Quick question before I forget.
yeah,
Homeowners, when you sell homeowners crap, do you ever get calls like, am I doing this wrong? Where are the streaks? And you're like, are you a homeowner or a business? Do you actually have you talked to homeowners who are actually like, I have a streak or it's pulling to the left or what's the clip do?
yeah, it's usually like something pretty basic of like, well, some people either like there's a few different styles of like the homeowner when they like get on windowcleaner.com, like where
Sure.
they're like they either get deep in the rabbit hole where they're like, okay, what's compatible with what? Because I've got all this in my cart, and then I'm trying to like guide them in the right direction of like, well, that's not going to work. That handle's not going to work with that, type of channel
Sure.
or something like that. Or um, you do get like, it's not working, and they don't even have a squeegee that they bought from us. So it's kind of just like, it's probably just that, you're using it on your shower door or something, and it's like a gas
Are
station squeegee.
are they essentially really bad customers like to deal with? Kind of, like, oh shit, it's a homeowner. I gotta deal with this call now and tell them how to
I,
stand
I,
on a ladder.
I mean, it depends, because I mean, it could be a 45-minute conversation that ends up being like, from my view, like a sale that's like $35, for like,
Mhm.
a couple
Right.
of
Two,
squeegees or
two,
something
three
like
items.
that.
Yeah.
And then you're just kind of like advising them, and, like sending maybe some YouTube videos or something. Cause I mean,
Cool.
you at least want to be helpful to some
Yep.
extent. But then there's also the homeowner that wants the water fed setup, which that's a tough one, because, they're either
Cha-ching.
trying to get a multi-stage system, and then it's like, well, do you know what the maintenance is on these types of things? And
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but if I was a homeowner, I wouldn't want to like necessarily like fuss with a purification system just for my own home. But I mean, to each their own. I try and make people as informed as I possibly can in that regard, like, because somebody's in a hard water area, they also don't want to spend that much. And it's like, well, you could get a DI tank, but it's going to last you so long. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
WCR should get a homeowner option, like a homeowner bucket, and then a homeowner like water fed setup where they can get like a 38-foot pole really cheap, or like a bucket just full of the three items they would need or whatever. That way they can just click that and zoom, check out, and get out of your
we
face.
we
Leave me alone.
have kind of a safeguard thing where if somebody, it's like within the system where it'll alert us, if somebody has bought a DI tank and is in a hard water area. So we'll
Uh,
reach out and just be like, hey, just so you know, this might not be as efficient as you want it to be. You're going to be buying a lot of resin. So that's
mhm.
something that we've implemented. But there's also, like starter kits for,
Yeah, the Steve-O
traditional
starter kit,
tools,
everybody.
and,
Yeah.
that Mormon has like a kit that has pretty much like basic, tools for window cleaners that aren't, it's like $50 or something like that. I was trying to advise people to get something like that, but you know, it's always better when you get a call from an actual window cleaner.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, right. Okay, how did you get into WCR, and were you ever a professional window cleaner, or just a window cleaner in general?
I was not a professional window cleaner. I didn't know about the world of window cleaning. I didn't know about the full context of window cleaning and this whole world that,
Do you guys have
it's basically
conventions?
just like, yeah, exactly. You guys know about all of that.
Yeah.
I answered what website was it? It was like when I was applying for jobs, I had been laid
Not
off
Tinder.
on a job for like a month, and it was literally the most basic ad of like warehouse work. It was like one line, like plain text of a like, I guess,
Can you stand
job
8 hours?
site that, yeah, Chris was like put out just like basically one sentence, and then it was a small warehouse in a neighboring town of the town that I grew up in, and I stopped in and yeah, learned what what all the tools were. Really
That's
great.
insane. So
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
from not even really knowing what the industry is about to immersing yourself in it fully, and then now being part of an awesome sales team that is WCR. That's
Pretty
pretty
crazy.
gangster, bro.
Really,
Yep.
it really is. Yeah. And for me, it was cool to see, and still is cool to see, how the company has grown, like physically, from moving from like such a small warehouse to the warehouse we're in. And, at this point, that even not being enough, it's just crazy. We used to have like, other than the sales reps at the time, we used to have like maybe like 15 people in the warehouse, I think, max.
And
Growth
now
is
I
good.
believe it's plus 80.
It's
Um,
crazy.
That's crazy.
which is
And
pretty
everybody's
wild.
working.
And they're
Yep.
all doing their own thing too. And it's funny that Deeds brought up that everything is awesome, because it really is.
Everything is awesome.
There is a nice little hum that is going, about the place. There's like it's organic. It's
It's
flowing.
like Munchkin Land. It's like they're all
It,
like on their
everybody's got a
shit. Yeah.
gig to do.
Yeah.
I think you kind of
There's
nailed
some
it
tall
right
people
there.
in there.
There's some
Yeah.
tall
Oh,
people in there.
of course. Yeah. I don't mean that's the little people everywhere. No, I'm talking about like the just being with it,
Oh, I
all
know.
like
I know.
It is
choreographed.
totally so much. It is very much like that. It is very much like that.
Everything is awesome. That's all it is.
I mean,
So what's
it's so cool too when you tour around there. I know you've seen it, Jason, where like they have like all the departments and everything, how like
yeah.
organized everything is. I mean, even just that is impressive.
I
Yeah, I
used to
don't know
work
how.
for, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Deeds.
I used to work for a grocer wholesaler. So I used to ride one of them flat ponies and like drive around with a skid and like stack stuff on it, like Legos. Oh
Yeah.
my God, everything is awesome. And so there's sometimes when you're going around a corner and you go a little too sharp and your entire thing
Oh, geez.
crashes. So
Yeah.
always be careful
Safety
when
first.
operating. Yeah,
Yeah.
everything was not awesome that day.
No.
Good. Oh, good
Oh,
I know
morning,
they
Kaylee.
I know they try and
Kaylee
keep
Zero.
the you know, the
Keep them
skid
low.
work and all that stuff at the minimum if they can.
Yeah.
yeah, it's all laid out properly too, and it's like okay, there's areas where you have a little more room and width, and then a little more narrow, and yeah, man, it's just a yeah. I don't know how the minds are always at work. It seems like Chris and Alex are always tweaking the realm of where they want to take it and what they want to do. And that's another thing that I admire about those guys is they don't rest on their laurels. They're continuously reaching for bigger, better, and it's evident that they usually reach those goals that they're shooting for. So I'm always excited to see what they're coming up with next.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's innovative, and one thing that I always appreciated, especially when I was in purchasing, working in the office area,
Mhm.
I always loved that it's not separated by anything. Like it's right there in the warehouse. All the desks are right there. You just walk over, you can see everything going on, and that was always cool too.
I
Neat.
thought that that
And
was I thought that that was one of the coolest things I had seen too. They basically have these cubes.
yeah,
They almost look like tall rectangular ice cubes where
yep,
people are getting their work
Can't
done.
touch
They
this.
have like a sliding little glass door, and it's almost like a tall fishbowl or something too, which maybe in the beginning to some of the people that are in there that might be a little weird, but for somebody who's going through the warehouse, it actually looks really cool and it looks like it's super effective. So
yeah. I
Everything
mean,
is
if
awesome.
you're crunching numbers or something like that, I mean, I guess it's a little bit nicer to be slightly isolated from some of the noise that's going on in the warehouse. But I was never in one of the cubes, I don't think, at any point.
nice. There was something I was gonna ask you too.
Oh,
Oh,
what's your favorite number? Would you say it might be like 6, 7? Just kidding.
Yeah,
South Park.
although I look young, I think I'm a little too old to even know what that. I know it's a thing, but
Yeah,
no
me
one
too.
knows
all I
what it
know is
is.
I don't know
seven,
what
eight,
it is.
nine. I think that's what I know.
He said
That's why he's
seven, eight,
afraid.
nine.
Yeah.
What is one of the you did go this past year or this year to the IWCA. Do you have anything, on your agenda for upcoming events out of town? You planning on
Yeah,
doing
I know they're doing Orlando. I think we still have to iron out, who's going to stick around as far as sales goes and who's going to go. But it was a fun experience. I mean, I would definitely, and just to like meet people face to face, and it's just those conventions are so much fun. So yeah,
That's what I was going to ask. Friendships that you have gained through the window cleaning industry that you may not have thought, or not necessarily friendships, but relationships. First, you were in
yeah,
purchasing, so you're buying
yeah.
from large corporations or the suppliers that supply us the goods, correct?
Yeah, and that's the thing about window cleaning too, is because, it could be a corporation like that, or it could be some guy who has an idea that has made like a piece, and they sell to us. So that was always cool. There's like the vast difference between like getting a purchase order together for like Unger and then another company that, we just like talk to and email with directly. So it's like it can vary for sure.
Do you still have some of those relationships that you built with the people that you were when you were in purchasing? Like, do you, and I'm only going to use this as an example. I'm not saying this is true or not, but like, let's say you reach out to the head person at Sorbo or whatever, and you guys have dealt with one another for the last 2 or 3 years. Do you have any relationships like that where you have somebody you're like that has become a friend of
Um,
yours?
not directly from any of the companies necessarily, but
Mhm.
the guys at Mormon are always really cool. We chatted with Maker earlier, so I actually had met Casper and everybody when they originally brought rubbers into the warehouse and started cutting there. So that was cool to see those guys again.
Yeah, we had the opportunity to meet Casper. We had the opportunity to actually have dinner with Niels, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And thanks to Damien. Damien really helped out on that one. That was really cool of him. As he's always awesome, but instead of being like kick
Everything
rocks
is
goo,
fine.
he was like, "Yeah, come on in, man." So we had dinner with Damien, Niels, and Damien's wife, and then obviously, I don't know if you saw Richie was on the pod a couple weeks back,
Mm.
and
Oh yeah.
he's about as great and genuine as you could ask for. And
Oh yeah.
I had an opportunity to meet him too when we were at the IWCA, and that was something that I had been hoping for over 2 years. So that to
Nice.
me was a really cool thing.
Yeah,
Um,
those guys are great.
Maker's got some big things it sounds like in the works, and I really can't wait to see what they come up with. You mentioned the rubbers, they've had those. The channels just
Hmm.
came out, so I can only assume there's something that go with the channels coming pretty soon, I would imagine.
Well, yeah, you know how the window cleaning industry works, where, you kind of hear these rumblings of things, either in the works, being developed or whatever, but you never know what you can and can't, dish out. So be cool to
Yeah.
see what comes out.
I just know it's going to be exciting because when Rishi said, "Hey, we've got stuff in development," I know that he means it, and I know it's going to be here soon. So, the channels came out. I have a channel now. Now I'm just really hoping and waiting for me to have something awesome to slide it into. So
Ah, ah,
Yeah.
ah. That's
I
what she
love
said.
sliding that channel into something.
Wait, no, reverse that.
Get romantic with the window cleaning.
Yep,
Hey, man, you got to keep it on the glass, right? Nice and
Michael
Yeah.
smooth.
Bolton.
Change
Yeah.
your rubber.
Nice and smooth. Anything on sale right now that you want to promote? Anything that is anything that's coming up this week?
Yeah, obviously Black Friday's in the works coming up. We have mystery boxes, which are cool. I mean, I would say that's for like the interested window cleaner who's like a gearhead.
Hmm.
They include like, all sorts of useful tools usually. I don't exactly know what's in the ones this year, but it's usually like good stuff, like either a fish scale towel,
Yep.
different squeegees, um, you
Mormon
know,
handles,
right.
brushes,
Blade.
Yeah.
necks.
Exactly. All
Yeah.
useful, I think mostly traditional tools. So yeah, those are always a cool little
Mhm.
kind of fun thing if you're into it. There's water fed stuff that's on sale now that I know of. So yeah,
I think
we always have something cooking. That's the good thing.
the pink trad pole's 20% off still.
Believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
Nice. And
Jessica,
how do people reach out to you if they want to purchase from you? What is the best way for them to get a hold of you? Do you like to get text? Do you like to get calls? Do you like to get email? What's the best way?
Yeah, I like, reach out to me however, but I appreciate that. My number is 862-312-2024. You can give me a call or text. Happy to help.
Hey, I'm gonna put it in the thing again. Hold on, John. I'm gonna
Yeah,
tag you. Hold on, at John B. What's your number again?
862
862
312
312
2024.
2024. Now it's in the
Yeah,
chat. Everybody knows how to get a hold of you. There's no
appreciate
excuse
it.
for you not to make a call today. If you're in need of some goods and you haven't contacted your rep or you don't have a rep, John B is one of the best out there.
Appreciate it.
Not only a
get
great
it
rep,
in. Get shorter.
not only a great rep, but a great dude. And as
Appreciate
Alex
it.
said, king of puns. Gotta love that.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me
Jessica,
on, man. I would
Jessica
definitely do this
Battle.
again. So
Yeah, you're welcome. Awesome. Jessica Battle says, in the words of Patrick from SpongeBob, the inner machinations of your mind are an enigma, and that brings me to like the Pinky in the Brain, where he's like, "You're in a strange place, Pinky. I don't envy you." It's like I always thought of that growing up, like stuff
Those
going
are
on
two
up here.
great quotes from two great cartoons.
Yes, good times.
Absolutely. Sean says he thinks he just passed your brother. He must be.
Oh yeah, yeah. My brother is a roofer, so
Is his name
another small
Daryl?
business in that town. Pretty funny.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, any big plans for the rest of the week for you? Anything that you're looking forward to, not window related? Anything fun? Who's your football team?
I'm not a football guy. I'm a hockey
No?
guy and a baseball guy. So I'm whatever you are when it comes to football. So whoever you're rooting
Gotcha.
for.
I'm a Cards fan
Go
myself.
foosball.
We just beat the Cowboys on Monday night.
Nice.
Sorry to Charles Chuck D. Smith. I know he's a big Cowboy fan. I don't know how or why, but the Cardinals have recently had the Cowboys numbers. Who's your hockey squad?
I'm a Devils fan, and since I'm from Jersey, and a Mets fan. So
Got it. When I
Cool.
was growing up, the Devils were hot shit, man. I remember
same.
NHL 95 on Sega Genesis was one of my go-tos. And yeah, I know that dates me. Sorry, guys. But
I
yeah,
was raised on a Super NES, so
there you go. But man,
Nice.
that NHL
Did you ever
95,
have Zombies Ate My Neighbors?
no, I
Oh yeah,
didn't, but I know of the game.
that's
yeah,
hilarious.
that was great. But yeah, the NHL, that was always fun. I had Blades of Steel on NES. Blades
Yep.
of
Hmm.
Steel.
That
And
was one
then
of
that
the
was a good game.
originals, and that game was
Back
awesome.
the pass. Back the pass. It was
And the
awesome. Me and my
graphics were
brother
so good then.
fist fight. That was
Even
awesome. It
for
was top of the line.
It
for back
was,
then, it
yeah.
was pretty tits, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, they
Remember
had
Um,
it
when
going on.
64 came out?
yeah.
Blew my mind. Blew
Oh
it.
yeah.
You know, get
Tony
the
Hawk on there.
Star Fox 64. Yep.
Oh
Tony
yeah.
Hawk grinding, nose
Yeah.
grind, all that fun stuff. It was awesome. The my favorite, well, yeah, Tony Hawk. I had a buddy who could just do all the crazy shit, like all the stuff that you can't even do with your thumbs, and he would be able to. And I was like, I can't compete. Some people are really good at
No.
it. But
Yeah,
same thing
yeah.
with
So
window cleaning.
good.
You can be really great at doing the zero trad, or you can really suck at it. It just takes practice, folks. Just got to put them on the
Mm.
glass and get it done.
It's just a
Yeah, man.
pro level transition right there.
I spent about
Yeah.
2 hours 2 weekends ago just messing around with some new tips and the Unger Zero. Squeegee Tom sent me an Unger Zero handle, I don't know, like 6 months ago. And I had the wrong tips for my poles and all this. And so it just made it not work for me. Like I was fucking trash with it. But I
Mm.
spent a couple hours on
Mhm.
it and I got it down pretty good. I was actually really happy with, how things were coming out. And I could just imagine if I actually really worked on it, I'd probably be pretty stellar at rocking that zero. But the type of work I do doesn't typically call for it too much. But I actually used it on a gig the other day to avoid some bushes and hedges, and I can see why it works.
Mhm.
Normally I would climb over shit, but whatever. So
That's the
Yep.
trad pole.
yeah, it's just in
Nice.
residential, it's not something that I necessarily need to equip myself with. It's not something I think about sometimes. I often just think about, oh, I'll just get a ladder or I'll
Get
just
the
do this.
step ladder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but instead I was like, you know what? I just worked on this for like 2 hours over the weekend. My wife and daughter thought I was nuts because I cleaned the same 3 panes of glass 422 times. But yeah, Adam's right. Just keep practicing, and that's exactly what I did. So I was like, fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's something that I always like that's interesting to know because whenever I'm like, hearing about something that people like, I always ask like questions because not being a window cleaner directly, super helpful for me, like
Mhm.
learning what people like and what people don't like, in my view, is like the best thing that I can do when I'm on a call and somebody's like, I'll just be like, if they're, well, let me get this squeegee and these rubbers. And I'm like, what do you like about them? Like feedback is super important for me.
Well, it's
Cool.
basically the same thing for our little morning coffees too. We want to hear feedback like from our friends who are popping in and chiming into the chat. Lets us know what
Yeah.
we're doing. Like if obviously too, if we're not feeling it that day, we're probably gonna get some of our buddies be like, "Goo, you suck today." Bye. You know what I mean? Like pick it up. But what I found was that I was just using the wrong tools. And I've been doing this
Right.
for over 20 fucking years. You would think that I would have the right tools. And it wasn't that I didn't have the right tools. I wasn't putting the right tools together.
Mm,
So
yeah,
it's just sometimes it can be just as simple as mixing and matching different tools, different posts, whatever. So taught
yeah,
myself a new lesson and I was pretty happy that I did. And normally, Adam said about the keep practicing thing. A lot of times we are it's ingrained in us that if we're not instantly good at something, that
We're
it's the
gonna suck.
product's fault. Oh,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That shit doesn't work. Well,
yeah.
it does. You just don't know how to work it or you don't know how to
Right.
use it properly. So
Right.
I
Yeah.
get
If you
that.
live long enough, you realize, you're not going to be a master at everything right away, right?
Right.
Jake tells
10,000
me
hours.
so Jake Van Orden just popped off to it. He's like, yeah, zero hero. He loves the 0 degree. When we were in I was in Utah back in September, and he's like, yeah, but you did a great job wetting the windows for me.
You're like
So
the Three Stooges. I remember the video.
yeah,
You
It's
got
so
one
you let
another
step,
he
thing
right?
come behind.
Another
Yeah.
thing too is like I can only use my setup, right? Like I don't, it's hard for me to use someone else's setup or someone else's tools because I've been doing it for so long. I know what's in my hand when I grab it. If I use someone else's setup, it just doesn't feel right. It'd be like
Mhm.
Right.
dancing with it'd be like dancing with another guy's wife. You know what I mean? It's just doesn't feel right.
I
Um,
would say it's like trying to write left-handed or the
that
other.
that could be another one too. I was just
Yeah.
using the dancing thing. But it I was like, yep,
Challenge
I'm
to a
not
duel.
this is also before I was practicing my zero, but I think too, watching him and James Riley just slap shit around was like, all right, I can't be a schlep anymore. I need to
It's
learn
all
how
in
to
the
do this.
wrists.
And it was
Finesse.
all in the wrist. He's
Beautiful
is
woman.
absolutely right.
You just
Well, there's
But
you
yeah,
people that
know
always ask me like, what's the best tool? And I'm like,
for
sorry to
what?
say that that's not exactly how it works.
Yeah. Well, there's a tool for everything and everything, everything for a tool. Um, but it just all depends on what you're doing, right?
Yep.
You're not going to use a 0 degree on just straight trad cleaning. It's
French
just
pains.
yeah, it's just not what you do. James Riley's Brothers equipment was definitely not my jam. Yeah, I was trying to figure it out too. Um, but I will say this, Jake, it was a pleasure to slang some suds with you and James. It was a lot of fun. Those are some dudes too that I didn't realize how much fun I was going to have visiting.
Hmm.
The community, we've talked about it briefly, but the community is just like so rad. Like I am so happy to know that if I travel anywhere, I can usually link up with a window cleaner somewhere and
Yeah.
shoot the breeze, shoot the shit, and clean some glass. And it's just, I feel like the more and more that we continue to do these coffee with a cleaner and goo and deeds and stuff like that, the more and more doors open and the more and more I continue to learn. Is there
Yeah.
something that over the years that you've been doing this since 2019 or what have you, what are one or two of the biggest things that you've learned about the business and one or two of the biggest things that you've learned about yourself so far?
Well, I guess I didn't know I could be in sales, like I never had a sales job. I wasn't sure what it would be like going into it at all. I knew Jersey, I knew Steve-O, I knew like the reps and everything. I just didn't know exact and I worked in customer service in the warehouse as well, so I spoke to some window cleaners, but it was very brief, so
Yeah.
I guess I just didn't know exactly how that would go, but it is just working directly with window cleaners, which I always kind of grew up blue collar, working in warehouses and stuff, so um my dad being an elevator mechanic and stuff, it just kind of like I get the language, I understand what it's like working, over 8 hours outside, getting cuts and bruises and stuff. It's all part of the day's work. And, just having that appreciation, I think for me kind of helps. And, I guess also like being on the East Coast and being from like the Jersey and New York area, you have that kind of like sense of humor and kind of thicker skin maybe than somebody else might have, I suppose.
So this is not a personal question, but a little bit like, were you said you didn't know if you could do sales or not. Were you just a slight bit terrified, taking a new position? Were you
Yeah.
anxious about it? How did you overcome that?
Yeah, because it was like I started in January. So like starting in January in sales when you don't necessarily have like
A
the
base.
full like yeah base, and you know you're in that time of the year you're not necessarily getting like a lot of things going on. So initially it was like a slow roll, but as things started to get going, I mean you sort of start to build a kind of like schedule for yourself, and get things rolling, I guess, in a way that you can always kind of be busy. So yeah, it's been fun.
What are your typical days? Do you have like a set schedule? You just mentioned, your schedule. Are you a Monday through Friday guy? Are you a Saturday night
Yeah.
guy? Are you and what does that entail? Like, are you take over the chat? Let some people know
Yeah.
how it actually works.
Yeah, I'm on chat from Tuesday after 5 till 11, from Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Um,
Well,
we
holy
kind of
smokes, it
split.
worked out perfect for me last night to hit you up then, huh?
Yes. Yeah, yeah, I was around. So yeah, I'm on chat those days of the week. The other guys, we kind of divvy up the time during the day, and other days throughout the week. But yeah, I'll do Monday and Friday. If I'm sitting around on the weekend doing nothing, I'll pop on the computer and see if anything's going on. But yeah, I try and work 8 to whenever. So
Cool.
Nice. And how do you fill your daytimes? What are you up to?
always trying to be like active and seeing things that are coming through on like Facebook, stuff like that, just cycling through different things. There's always people reaching out. We have different like programs that we use to where like people will email or like through social media and stuff. So it's just basically like touching on leads. It's really a lot of that kind of stuff, really.
Got it. Got it. And how much so you can kind of set your own schedule a little bit, but you have certain days
Yeah.
that you are dedicated to.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, for me, like, trying to work Monday through Friday is like a minimum, So like, if I can do any more than that, which entails like starting earlier or ending a little bit later, so it's not necessarily a 9 to 5 or even like 8 to 5 job in sales,
Yeah.
like kind of how window cleaners work, where it's like, I guess you set your own schedule in a way, but like you still want to be like working as much as possible.
Have you had a couple of mentors along the way? I mean, you mentioned Jersey
Minotaurs.
Steve-O. There's somebody too that I want to bring up. Good old buddy John Lee.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
he's
John Lee.
a
So
legend.
wise.
He knows all sorts of stuff. The dude is one of the nicest guys ever. Uh,
Yeah.
he's a faith-based guy, which is another thing I love about that dude. Um, just knows
Mhm.
his stuff. Do you have interactions with him often?
Not too often. I mean, John is he's kind of you know
A Minotaur.
traveling the country,
Yeah,
so a lot of times people will hit me up thinking I'm him because we have the
yeah.
same name, so I'll throw
Oh, cool.
him their numbers, like anybody wants to, hit up John and gets in touch with me, I'm not gonna, take that from him because, like you said, he's a legend. So like, if anybody wants to reach out to him and gets to me, I'll always say, hey, let me reach out to John and
Yeah, I'll
get
forward you
him
though.
your
Cool.
contact info. So yeah, I try not to jump in John Lee's text messages too much or anything like that. But yeah, if somebody is like, hey, I'm working with John, because after the office leaves at 5, the phone lines go to him, so when he takes calls, sometimes they'll send text messages or something. I look at the text messages that come from the main line. So if you text the main line, you're reaching out to me directly.
That's awesome.
Cool.
That's awesome. So
Yeah,
we've dialed in a couple of different ways for people to get a hold of you.
sure.
Facebook,
Yep.
email, direct line. Shoot it again, 862
Yeah, 862-312-2024.
2024. That's the way to
Yep.
get a hold of them. So this
Yep.
is about the time of the show when we go ahead and start to wrap up. We talked a little bit about some things that we use on a daily basis or what we're getting into today. Deeds, you didn't really get into it. What do you got going on though? What are you going to use
Today
today?
I've got two window cleaning jobs. One of them is a pretty straightforward one-story house, so I'm kind of torn whether I just want to traditional clean it and not whip out the cart and all that stuff. So I'm probably going to clean it trad. So I'm bringing all my stuff, but I've got a huge uh, two-story home with French panes in my sorry, in my neighborhood I did before, maybe last year or the year before, and I did it all traditionally last time. So this time on the walk around, I told them all about you know, a
The
water-fed
benefits of
pole.
water-fed.
Yes, it's a deionized water, all that stuff. Sold the job yesterday. So I was like, I can get you in tomorrow afternoon. So today, after the first job, coming back to my hood and then cleaning, 8 screens and then a whole bunch of windows. So got myself a nice
Sweet.
little Wednesday lined up here. And then Thursday's Christmas lights. Picked up the church's lights last night. So I've got all the tote. I've already tightened up all the bulbs and all the lines, got that ready to go. So now I'm just chomping at the bit to get out to my church and install those lights and get paid from that. And yeah, I'm actually pretty busy. I've had a couple calls yesterday, so I sold 3 jobs. So I've got this week's booked and then into next week. So I'm pretty excited about that. I just got to stay
Uh,
healthy and watch my back with all that water-fed pole work. So
Oh
we'll
yeah.
see.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah,
for
anyway,
sure.
out of my 5 jobs this week, 4 out of them have window cleaning. So,
Hmm.
4 out of the 5, that's not bad. The other ones are like a house wash and windows, and others windows, gutters, and driveway. Like it's really neat. So I got a busy week coming, and the fall
Sweet.
is here. Thanksgiving rush is coming. So advertise, guys.
Right.
It
Right.
sure is. One more quick question for John. What do you think the percentage of people who are that you work with are window cleaners only? And what do you think the other percentage of the people that do multiple different services, like Deeds, for instance?
Oh yeah, no, I think it's a good percentage of people who offer like add-on services or either started out with pressure washing and are getting into window cleaning. So I would say that it's a really high percentage, over 50% at the very least. Yeah, I mean, there are guys
Neat.
who just do window cleaning, but I'd say it's pretty good amount.
Nice. Yeah, I used to offer a couple of different services, but I basically don't let people know that I do them. I have them listed sometimes on some of my flyers, but it's not something that I typically get into unless people ask. I just love to clean that glass and make it shine, you know what I mean? So
Right.
that's the boat that
Plus,
I'm in. That's the boat
yeah,
that I'm in.
plus chimney sweep too sometimes, right?
Hell no, not in
Dryer
Arizona.
vents, no thanks. Yeah.
Not in Arizona. Uh, so one of the cool things too, that we that we like to do is we like to give thanks or give a shout out to anybody who's helped us along the way, or and if you've got anybody that's going through some tough times, you can give them a shout out. Is there anybody you want to send some love to?
God.
Did I put
Oof,
you on the spot there, John?
maybe a little bit, maybe a little bit. No, it's not necessarily a person, but the people in the warehouse.
Oh, hell yeah. I
Heck yeah.
agree.
Those are my
I
roots.
agree.
So
I agree. Shout out to all the folks in the warehouse. Much love to them. They
Everything is
always get
awesome.
everybody their gear on time. It's always properly picked, packed, and triple checked. So good call
yep.
on that one.
Sales
Deeds,
reps would be nothing without the warehouse doing what
for
they do.
sure. Deeds, what about you?
Just want to thank everybody for watching. This is our 101st episode. We've
Yeah.
come a
What
long
a
way. So thank you to everybody. Thank you, Jason, for being here. Thank you for Chris and Alex for supporting our show and giving us this platform to jump off on and talk about our daily issues and fun tools and all that. And thank you to my wife for all the stuff she's still
Yeah,
doing and helping. I made it to Buffalo and back without having to get a divorce or anything silly. So that was awesome. Everything is
beautiful.
awesome. I just played that song nonstop. But yeah, everything is
There's the
good. So
title of the app.
yeah, I
That
got
is
a
the title
busy.
of the episode. That is
Yeah,
the
I just
title of the episode.
yeah,
John B. and everything is awesome.
There we
everything is
go.
awesome.
I too want to give a shout out to Kylie. She's been making sure that we get all of the promos out and making sure that we edit the name spells so we get John B's
Mm,
last name spelled correctly.
yep, we're
Um,
fixing that. Sorry.
It's all right.
Borkowski translate to big balls or huge balls in English
That's
from
right.
Polish.
Yep.
Respectfully.
We had the Polish connection going on today with your boy Goo,
A pair of
and
Yep,
skis.
that's
I want
right.
to. It is definitely a bunch of skis. I want to give a shout out and a thanks, like Deed said, to Alex and Chris for putting together such a great group of people or bringing together such a great group of people. We're
Yeah.
over 40,000 members strong now, which is insane to think. And thank you for everybody who keeps coming in. Corey Klimas, Sean Hart, Jessica Battle, Sam, Mark Tanner, Damian, John Magdos, like all of our
What
friends,
up, Craig?
yeah, all of our friends that show us support, Chris Eckstein, like Craig and Grace, everybody. Oh, yeah. Shout out to Craig and Grace. Got my
Shout out.
Nice.
package the other day. Got a little towel holder sitting here. I'm
Oh, killer.
excited. I'm excited. I'm gonna attach it to my Maker Trident belt this afternoon.
Sweet.
Billy's already out at the airport towers taking care of the air traffic control towers. So shout out to Billy Sloan. Billy Badass is what we affectionately call him because he
Good
takes
morning.
care of shit and he is a badass. So
Respect.
Wow.
most importantly, John B, thank you for answering the phone last night. Thank you for answering the
Absolutely.
text and then for just being kind enough to get on the show. Yourself, uh, Austin Grubbs, and Zane do a lower rung. And what you guys and Squeegee Life are one of the reasons that Mark and I also like to do this stuff. You guys
Hell
give
yeah.
us inspiration, and it's part of the reason why we keep doing it is because we know that it's important and that it's a good time for us to get together. So I don't know where
Totally.
Austin's at, but I'm going to be reaching out to him soon too.
Cool.
We have great guests on for next week, but I want to see about getting Grubs in the week after. So
Cool.
much love to
Yeah.
you, John B. Thank you so much for taking the time with us this morning. And shout out to the whole crew at in Florida, New York, man. I
That's
love
great.
those guys, miss them, and hope to get out there again soon.
Yeah,
Heck yeah.
absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah,
John,
you're
you
welcome.
are the best, one of the nicest guys in the business, and just a good hang. So thanks again for joining us.
Appreciate it.
We'll catch up next time, and I hope everybody has a great day and that your passion bucket's full. Deeds, what do you tell them?
Everything is awesome and change your rubbers.
And change your
Yeah.
rubbers.
Yeah.
Have a
There you
great day,
go.
guys. John B,
Have a
you
good
kick
day.
ass, brother.
Thanks, John. Thanks,
Later,
everybody.
guys.
Bye bye.
Yep.